We are moving on to our algebra unit. This is lesson 7.1. Put it in your notes. I don't want confusion anymore with how notes are going to go in order. And the main topic is solving equations. Your specific learning target, you're going to solve two-step equations. That means you need to do two things to get the variable by itself. You have learned this before. It is review. But tomorrow we will bump it up to multi-step equations. Steps for solving two-step equations. The first thing you do, well, first I want you to think about cleaning your room. And let's say that you were just at a public restroom. Rose, you're in this public restroom. You're walking out. You're going back to your house. And you have a piece of toilet paper hanging from you. Disgusting, right? And you just don't even remember or know that it's there. And your family member's like, clean your room, it's disgusting in there. And you're like, oh, okay, and you start cleaning up your room. And all of a sudden, the last thing you notice is something at the corner of your eye, and you see this thing sticking to you. And it's usually always that case, that you notice everything around you, and then when something's sticking to you, you don't really notice. I apply it to algebra. That's how we solve equations. We move what's not connected to the variable. So that's easier. You move those things that are not connected. Followed by, lastly, you move what is sticking to the variable. I'm giving you a visual here. Again, when I say connected to it, that again means the variable. The visual, 3x minus 2 equals 7. Notice that the 7 is keeping its distance from x, or not the 7, the 2. That is what is not sticking to the variable. It's not connected. This 3 is latching on. It's going to be really hard to get rid of. Okay, so the 3 is what's sticking to it. All right, showing you, like toilet paper, showing your work. Algebra, you need to know three things. You need to know what solve means. Solve means get the variable by itself. You need to know inverse. Inverse means doing that opposite operation. And you need to know balance. What you do to one side of an algebraic equation, you do to the other. So what do you think I move first, the 6 or the 15? 15. And how do I move it? Minus. So I'm going to minus 15 to both sides. 6n is equal to 18. 6n means 6 times n. The inverse of times is divide. N is 3. Not too shabby, right? You've been there, done that. It seems like, oh, why am I even doing this? You need a strong algebra foundation, that's why. I'm not trying to make it seem like this is too easy for you by any means, but you do need to know. You've got to be super confident with this part before we move on. 10n minus 12 equals 48. What do I need to move?
12.
How?
Plus.
Plus 12, plus 12. 10n equals what? 60. Divide by 10, n equals 6. And again, this is me showing my work. Now, as far as showing your work, I'm going to encourage you to show your work more of an upper graduate level, like an upper high school and college level student. We show our work. There is no college student that doesn't show their work, okay? Probably there is a college student out there that doesn't show their work, but it's rare. You should be showing your work. And let me show you how I show my work and how my professors knew exactly what I was thinking. The first thing I would do is y minus 2 equals 15. My professor knows what I did there. They know that all of a sudden my 8 disappeared. So what I did is added 8 to both sides. And now I need to multiply by 2, so I would say y is equal to 30. And call her good. And it looks much better. I don't know why I like it better. This one I don't like so much because of the fraction bar, but it just looks so much better than the plusing 12 to both sides and then having that big line under it. Just looks more advanced in my eyes. x over 4 plus 11 is 31. I know that I'm going to move my 11 first by subtracting it, so I get x over 4 equals 20. Me subtracting 11, timesing through by 4, x equals 80. And I wouldn't show that in my college paper. I would just show from here to here. Hey, guess what I don't like?
Tell me what I was wrong with.
Yeah, I don't even like my variable on the right hand side. I need my variable on the left hand side. But if you like it on the right hand side, don't change it. You do what you want to do, okay? Okay, so I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, moving what's not connected to it. That's really plus a negative 4. I get x over 4 equals negative 6. X is a negative 24. How did I get negative 24? By multiplying through by 4. Again, my variable's on the right-hand side, so I'm rewriting it. 2y minus 3 equals negative 13. Add 3, move what's not connected. 2y is equal to a negative 10. Divide by 2, y is a negative 5. There is an example, a homework question that I want you to extend. So I want you to write more than one sign as a heading. More than one sign in middle. Because you're going to come across that. So this is a new heading under the problems you did. You have plenty of space. Or do it on the back. 2 problems like it. Shoot, I might make a fraction here because I got to think off the top of my head. Okay, there's 1. There's 2 signs in the middle. See? 2 signs in the middle. Let me do another one over here before we solve that one. Okay, so I kind of have 2 plans of attack. When I see this situation here, when I minus a negative, what am I really doing? Adding. So I just go ahead and just rewrite that. 2x plus 8 equals 14. That's my personal strategy. It's how I conquer it all the time. Then I would subtract 8. Now notice that some students see subtract and think, hey, I'm going to plus. Well, I didn't plus. I had to simplify it first. I'm really subtracting as the inverse, okay? So I get 2x, what's 14 minus 8? 6. X equals 3. Okay? So again, let me recap my strategy here. I saw that I had 2 signs in the middle, and when I minus a negative, I know that's plussing. So I just wrote it as plus, and notice that the opposite of plus is to subtract. I don't use that same strategy over here. I only use that strategy when I'm minusing a negative. Here I do the inverse, gentlemen. Here I do the inverse of my operation sign. My operation sign is plus. Okay? So to move plus, I subtract a negative 4. Subtracting a negative is really what? Adding 4. And I get negative 2x is equal to a negative 4. X is a positive 2. So those are tricky, those are the tricky ones.